know, it's just the little things. It's just the little things, right? Okay. So first, the thing I think we need to address is that through some research, I've discovered there's about 70% of businesses are experiencing like a growth plateau within the first 5 years. They stop growing. There's like this stagnation period that happens. And so what I want to talk about today is kind of maybe giving your business a fresh start and how to do that. So we're going to talk about the problems, and then we're going to talk about the solutions. I'm a very solution-oriented person, and I feel like every problem has a solution if we're willing to dive a little deeper and ask ourselves some really hard questions and be honest with ourselves, because we can't see what we can't see. And so sometimes we need to have a fresh set of eyes to help us see the things that we can't see it because we're in the thick of it. And we've looked at our website 10,000 times and we think it's great, right? Or we hate it. That's the other thing. You either hate your website or you love your website. And if you don't love your website, there's something in it you can't see, right? So the first reason why we aren't growing, okay, let's talk about that. Why are we not growing? And last week, I made a post on my Facebook that I thought was really interesting. And I asked, this is what I said, business owners, the more that I connect with my fellow entrepreneurs, I've been hearing that there is a shift happening. No one can quite put their finger on it. A copywriter said she hasn't had any clients since January. And a coach said that no one is signing up for her program. And I asked, is this true for you? Have you noticed any changes? And the answers that I got were really intriguing. Someone said that they had a 30% decrease, and others said that they had the best year ever, that they are having the best year ever, I should say. Some people said that people are being burned by, coaches and programs and all of the things, and so they're weary to buy from anybody. And someone else was blaming the economic uncertainty. And so here's kind of what I want to say about that, is that I noticed that it was about perception and mindset. Were definitely playing a part in how they felt. It was how they were perceiving their own success. And I know from experience that if we are operating from a place of lack or scarcity, then that's what's going to show up for us. But if we operate out of a place of abundance, meaning that I have everything I need and anything extra is just icing on the cake, then that is what you will attract, right? So when we feel like Zig Ziglar says, when we focus on what we don't have, you will never, ever, ever have enough. So I want to dive in a little bit deeper into why we aren't growing. So if you're thinking, my business is not growing, let's talk about why. The first thing that I think are the customer needs. And I had to get really real with myself and ask, I'm going to talk to you about the epitome of, if I could go back in time, I would do something different. And that is Business Reboot Camp 2.0. Okay, so I did not do market research like I should have. So I created something that nobody actually wanted or needed. I interviewed 33 experts and I put together this whole ginormous program that nobody bought because people didn't actually want it. And had I taken the time to ask people what they actually wanted, maybe things would have been different. The other thing that I didn't consider was that I was trying to attract baby business owners, newborns, and I was pricing it at $5,000. It was worth that. However, baby business owners can't afford that. They're trying to figure out how they're going to buy a new logo. I don't know, right? Like they were not in a place where they're like, yeah, I'm going to spend $5,000. I did not do my market research. So I created a program that nobody actually said they wanted. And I learned a lot through the process. Like, I'm not going to call it a failure because I learned something from it, but damn, was that humbling. That was a very humbling experience for me. So the question I have for you is, do you know what your clients actually want and need. And how do you know? How do you know that that's what they want? Have you asked them, what is the product or service that is going to help you solve your problem? Right? So I just think that we could do better when it comes to asking people what it is that they want or need. The next one I feel is that you're not standing out. How are you different from everybody else in the world? As a CRM agency, there's probably 50,000 plus, I'm not even joking, CRM agencies that do exactly what I do. They do exactly what I do. So how am I going to stand out against 50,000 other people? I got to figure out a way to differentiate myself. And so I don't just sell the CRM by itself. Other people may do that, and that's awesome for them. But I discovered that if I really truly wanted to help people, then I actually had to help people and kind of offer that thing that makes me different, which is kind of like the done for you sort of thing, done with you, done for you, but not DIY, because I discovered that people actually struggled more. I don't want to cause struggle. And as I watch other people who are also agencies, their turnover rate is super high because they're not helping people. My turnover rate is very low because I am diving in deep with people and truly helping them. So how can you take that? How can you fill in that gap? So there's, I'm thinking of Kirsten here, right? There's a million people that help people write books. How can you do it differently? How can you fill in the gap? What is missing in your industry that people are not doing? And you could say, I help you with that. I can fill the gap, bridge the gap there. The next thing is, I think that sometimes we get really comfortable and we stop showing up. Are you showing up to networking? Are you showing up to your polka dot meetings? Are you showing up, or are we in that kind of like the complacency, and we just kind of like, we just don't feel like it, right? Sally the saboteur used to give me all kinds of excuses why I didn't need to show up. And the thing was, and at the beginning of this meeting, we had like 6 people on the call, right? And I'm like, celebrating those of you who show up because it's the hardest part. And then when you do show up, you're like, I'm so glad I did. There was something or someone that you needed to meet on that call. But if we don't show up for ourselves, we're missing out on potential opportunities to connect, collaborate, make a new friend, be there for someone, help someone. So I really want you to intentionally show up. Find some polka dot meetings to that are virtual. There are still polka dot meetings that are virtual. Find one, put it in your calendar, and commit to showing up. And know that you're showing up because there's something there for you. You'll be so glad that you did. Okay? And then the next thing is the lack of a marketing strategy. I'm going to tell you a hard truth. Just posting on social media is not a marketing strategy. You have to be more intentional. Like, it can't just be like, okay, I posted on Facebook for the day. Woo, marketing. No, it's so much more than that. Then what? Then what? What happens next? Is there a call to action? If you're just posting to sell stuff, guess what? People aren't going to care. They don't care. People are come to social media to connect. They don't come to be sold to. So we have to figure out a way to connect with people through storytelling, through photos, through whatever, and then engage with them in the comment section. If someone takes the time to comment on your post, you definitely need to be engaging with them and return the favor. Go see what they're posting about and become their biggest fan. Because what's going to happen is they're going to feel so special. Just like you feel special when someone does that for you. wow, somebody liked what I had to say. Go return the favor. Make that a part of your marketing strategy. Be their biggest fan too. So, call to actions for this. Okay. So, you're not growing. So, here are some things that you can do. Market research. Okay. Ask people the hard questions. And I will tell you, I do anonymous market research all the time. I want to make sure that I'm on the right track and that I am, if there's a shift in what the needs are for people, that I want to know about it, because I can't be, this is a way for me to get inside their head. I'm not a mind reader. I have to ask people, what is keeping you stuck right now? What is the thing that is overwhelming you about a CRM or about having a system or a process or your website or whatever, or your brand, whatever? What's frustrating you? And I will take the time and I will create some like check boxes and give them an opportunity to write in as well. Like, but I want to make it easy for them. I want to make it easy for them and not feel like they have to write me a novel in order to give me market research. They're doing me a favor, so I want to make it easy for them. I'm not going to ask them for a book, right? Just give me a paragraph about what is keeping you stuck right now. But here's some things that maybe they hadn't thought of, like, oh yeah, I am struggling with that. But they may not think about it if you just ask them to write about it. So give them that, plus an option to add additional context. Use their words. They're giving you gold in that market research. Use their words in your marketing. That was a piece of advice that I got a very long time ago that always stuck with me, was to use their words. And the other thing that I think number 2 on this is to analyze your analytics. So if you look at the last 30 days of your content, look at the last 30 days of your website visits, look at the last 30 days of what have people purchased, what are they signing up for, et cetera, et cetera. Do more of that. If you're noticing, wow, this post got like a lot of engagement, how can you replicate that? You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you have a new idea. Take what's already working for you and tweak it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, that is, no, we don't need to do that. Okay, so number 2 of the 5 things, the 5 areas, is going to be your brand. Is your brand outdated? And how do you know if your brand is outdated? Number 1, people don't stay long on your website. They're in and out, and you'll know that through your analytics. And number 2, they're not engaging with your content. You are out of alignment. Something is disconnected, and what you're communicating and what you're offering don't match. There's a mismatch happening. And when there's a mismatch, when we show up to networking and then they go look at your website and they go, that's weird. That's weird. That doesn't look like what you said. It doesn't look like who you are. If your brand is out of alignment, it's going to make it, you're less trustworthy to your potential clients. So we have to make sure that we are in alignment, and you can't see that. We can't see it because we have tunnel vision. And so I'm just going to let you know, if you need someone to just look at your stuff and tell you if you're in alignment or not, let me know. I do that complimentary. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I genuinely want to help you. Okay. So you can have a brand alignment checkup, have a fresh set of eyes to look at your website, look at your online presence, and make sure that you are in alignment, that everything feels like it's cohesive and it matches. So like, for example, one of the best compliments I got from Shauna Stanley, if you all know Shauna Stanley, who is the graphic designer for Polka Dot Powerhouse, she does a lot of logo work and things like that for my clients, which is super awesome. When I do my summits, she already knows it's me without looking at my name, because everything I do is cohesive. The colors are cohesive. I'm not throwing out green like forest green or like a lime green. Like lime green is not a part of my shoe, that it doesn't make sense, right? So the colors do make a difference. They do make a difference. So just making sure that everything you put out is cohesive. That's kind of what branding is, right? Your visual identity has to align with your values and your personality. It needs to reflect your target audience and your values, your mission, right? And what do people think about your brand? Have you ever asked anyone to give you feedback about that? When's the last time you did a SWOT analysis on your business? Do you guys know what a SWOT analysis is? SWOT. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can literally Google, it's everywhere. So you can Google it. This is not a new concept. Google the SWOT analysis, and I encourage you to sit down and do that for your business today. Today. Don't wait. Do it today. Okay? So number 3, let's talk about engagement. So does anybody here feel like you post on social media and you get crickets and you're like, hello, Bueller, is this thing on? Like, is anybody hearing me? How many of you for like you post and like nobody gives a shit? Nobody cares. So guess what happens? We stop posting because why bother? But I'm going to tell you, here's the trick. You have to stay consistent. I want you to act as if you are posting for one person only. Somebody out there needs to hear your message today. And if one person likes or comments or whatever, they were the ones that you were posting for today. So don't stop posting because people aren't paying attention. But what I want you to do is I want you to figure out what should you be posting, okay? And is it storytelling or is it buy my stuff? If you're always promoting, yeah, they are going to stop. They're going to stop engaging. They don't want to be sold to. They want to connect with you. How can you connect with them? Ask questions. Ask questions. Be vulnerable. Be relatable. But don't just focus on selling all the time. So one of the things that I encourage, analyze, engage, interact, be consistent. Like consistency. I think it was, who was it that said consistency? Hold on, where's my notes? Trina, consistency, lack of consistency. There was a lot to unpack with you, but I think that there's a fear that I'm aware of that has been, if I show up, people are going to say yes. If they say yes, they might find out that I don't know what I'm doing. What if I can't live up to their expectations? What if they find out I'm a fraud? So I don't show up because then nobody's going to buy it. And then I could just say that I'm constantly in the hustle mode. I'm trying, but it's not working. But it's really this fear here of fear of success. Fear of success brings change. And what happens if everything changes? Then everything changes. And what comes with change? So I had this epiphany one day that was amazing. And it was my perception of how I viewed people that had a lot of money. If we think that millionaires are all assholes and stuck up, then why would I ever want to be one? If I believe that millionaires are stuck up assholes. I don't want to be that. So I had to change. I was telling my daughter this. I said, money just enhances who you already are. If you're an asshole to begin with, then money is just going to enhance your assholeness. But if you're a kind, genuine person, then money is going to enhance your kind, genuine giving generosity spirit. It just is an enhancement of who you already are. Money is not what makes you an asshole. You already are or you're not, right? So when you think about attracting money to you, I know this is really not a talk about money, but if you are not in a space where you feel like you are worthy of money or deserving of money, then why would you attract it to you? So staying in a constant state of hustle and that you are constantly working your butt off in order to get clients, in order to have a successful business, you're literally on a hamster wheel going nowhere. And at some point, you're going to decide that you are sick and tired of that. But you need to have that aha moment in order to get out of your own damn way, right? So let's talk about number 4, time management. When we are solopreneurs, and maybe you have a VA already, awesome, love that for you. Love that for you. But when we are solopreneurs spinning all of the plates, guess what happens? We have a time management issue, because what you should be focused on is what are income producing activities that only you can do in your business. Everything else can be delegated to somebody else, so that when you are doing income producing activities, that person is behind the scenes doing the things that aren't really your zone of genius. So what should you be working on every single day in your business? So there's a couple of methods that you can use for time management, and I encourage you to find the one that works best for you, because time management is different for everybody. What works for me may not work for you. I'm a time blocker. I color code my day. Income producing activities, client activities is all in green. Those are the things that are making me money. I categorize my calendar instead of tasking my calendar. So my categories are admin, brainstorm time, client activities, networking, education. Like my day is color coded. And I will tell you, the hardest part for me is the boundaries and following through with the way that I set up my calendar. Future me set up my calendar for me to be successful. Current me is going to try to sabotage it all and F it up, as I would say. So I have to know that future me set this calendar as a way for me to manage my time and to focus on the things that are important and priorities in my business. Sally, the saboteur, is going to come along and try to screw it all up and make me believe that I'm not worth receiving, or all the BS. We all have the BS. She's going to try to sabotage me. So having that awareness that that's what's happening is super duper imperative to know. Are you engaging in a sabotaging behavior by being busy but not actually productive? If you find yourself doom scrolling, are you sabotaging or are you being productive? And knowing, oh, I'm doom scrolling, that means, what am I avoiding? What am I avoiding by doom scrolling? And knowing what is your default? What is your default? When you are out of alignment, what is your default? Doom scrolling, is that what it is for you? Because that's what it is for me. So I had to make a rule for myself. This is my rule that I set for myself because this is what I needed to do. I'm not allowed to watch TikTok because, I love TikTok. I'm not allowed to watch TikTok at my desk. It can't happen here. I can watch it on my lunch break at my kitchen table, where I give myself a lunch break every day. I can, for that hour, I can do whatever I want. If I want to run an errand, if I want to scroll on TikTok or whatever, then that's my time to do it. I give myself permission to doom scroll during that 1 hour break that I give myself. So I'm giving myself permission to procrastinate almost, but for 1 hour during my day while I'm eating my lunch. And I don't eat lunch at my desk. because I need that separation when you work from home. I wouldn't do that at a corporate job. So why am I doing that to myself? I need to be a better boss to myself and allow myself to have that 1 hour break, right? So what are some of the things that are not the best use of your time? So that could be manually following up. Is that the best use of your time? Is there something that you could automate? Are you manually sending emails after somebody makes a purchase or has a consult with you? Are you manually sending invoices? Is that the best use of your time? So some action steps we could take for this are, maybe you need a CRM and maybe you don't know which one is the best for you. Guess what? I have a quiz. It'll take a quiz. It'll tell you which one is best for you. If you want that link, let me know. I will send it to you. And what time blocking method would be helpful for you to stay focused and on track? So is it the color coding? Is it the Pomodoro method? Is it the eat the frog method? Is it boundaries? Whatever that is, right? Could you create templates if you are sending the same emails, copy pasting over and over and over to people? Could we create a template out of that in your CRM so that you don't have to manually do that? Could you create an SOP out of how you run your business so that you could hire a VA and literally just record yourself doing your processes of what you do and then hiring somebody because now they have your instructions? Because I know why we don't delegate is because nobody's going to do it as good as us because we're so amazing. Then nobody can do it like we can do it. And I say that's BS. We're not that, like, it's just there are people that are smart enough to do it and help you. But I know it's a trust issue. So hire a VA to do non-income producing activities for you so that you can stay in your zone of genius, which is helping your clients. That is your zone of genius. So the last one is going to be customer experience. If you were to think about your ideal customer experience from start to finish, do you have that written down somewhere? Have you mapped out the process from start to finish for your active leads, your passive leads, your customers, and an ascension program? You should have 4 categories for your customer experience. So an active lead is ready to buy in the next couple of months. A passive lead is not ready to buy in the next 6 months. A customer is ready to buy now, so they should go into your onboarding process. And then that customer then goes into an ascension program, which is after they've purchased and they've done all of the things, then what's next? Or are they just done forever and you wash your hands of them and they go away forever? Do you know that it's easier to sell to your current clients than it is to find new ones? You've already established the know, like, trust factor. So do you have a way to stay engaged with your customers and keep them as a customer? Like level 2, right? What's the next level? Be obsessed with your customers. Ask for their feedback. Be their biggest fan as well. You are here to serve them. You are here to make their lives easier. You are here to help them have a transformation. You're here to help them solve their problems. You're here to serve. So be obsessed with them. Obviously in a good way, not in a stalkerish weird way, okay? No stalking. We don't want to get a restraining order because we're obsessed with them, right? Like that, I'm not talking about that. But get their feedback. When you have a new idea for a product, ask them, hey, is this something that would be helpful for you? Would this help you in some way? Hey, I was thinking about this. What do you think about that? But having that one-on-one dialogue with someone and asking them for their genuine feedback when you have an idea of something, a pop rock or whatever, of, hey, I was thinking about this. What do you think about that? I think it's also important that we provide exceptional and timely customer support. And that also can include being super transparent in your policies. What is your refund policy? What's your return policy? What happens if they're not satisfied? Do you have a money back guarantee? Be transparent. Because if they're like, I don't know if you've ever bought a course, but this happened to me. I bought a course a long time ago when I was a photographer, and I was like, this lady does not know what the hell she is talking about. And I was not satisfied at all. I was like, I don't even know what you just paid, what I just paid you for, but you did not advertise what she advertised was not what I got. So then what? So if you are that business, what are you going to do? Do you have those policies in place of what happens if someone is not satisfied? What if the expectations are not met? So do you have a process to make sure that expectations are laid out clear and simple from the beginning before they make a purchase? And the other thing I think is really important is to segment your leads and your customers into categories if you can, so that when you are doing marketing or email marketing or promos or anything like that, that you're talking to the right people. Does everyone on your list need to get this email, or is it only for certain people that have expressed interest in a certain thing? So if they download a lead magnet, for example, which means that they're really super excited about this topic, then send communication to them about that topic. So make it more like segmented and specific so that they're not feeling like you're just sending it to everybody. And the last thing I would say is to funnel all of your decisions through your values and your mission. And if it is not aligned, then it's a no. Then it's a no. Okay. So I would love to answer any questions that you guys may have. Does anybody have any questions about how to give your business a makeover? What are you going to do after today? Cydia?
Yes, thank you so much for that presentation. I think it gave us a lot of good information. I certainly took down a lot of notes. My question is, I can post things on Facebook and get a lot of responses, right, for market research in particular, but I'm wondering, because you said that you do it secretly and anonymously, that you're getting that kind of feedback. What are some resources or places or businesses, whatever you have, because I would like to cast a wider net with some of these research questions that isn't just my, 1,200 people on Facebook.
Right. So if you don't have a CRM or a database of some sort that allows you to have forms, then you could use something like Google Forms, and you can toggle off the email, right? So that it's not a required field, and then just ask your questions. And then you can download that into an Excel spreadsheet and be able to manipulate your data or organize your data, etc. So you can also use like jot forms, or I don't know if SurveyMonkey is still a thing, but it was back in my day. But if you have a CRM already, see if they already have that feature. And if not, then I would say Google Forms or jot forms can help you with those. And those are like free options that you can use.
And so I thank you. And I would definitely use the Google Forms. I guess my question is, after I've created the form, how do I get it to more people? How are you getting more of that market research?
Yeah. So you can either, like I did a thing and said, hey, I need some volunteers to do market research for me about this topic. And if you're interested, please let me know, and I will send it to you through DM, because I've learned that Facebook doesn't really care for links and doesn't really show your content with links to people. So I just send it to them via DM, thanking them, hey, thanks for volunteering for market research. Here's the link you need in order to fill out the form.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Suzanne?
My question was on your number 4 was saying it's the lack of the marketing strategy.
Mhm.
So that's something that I don't even know quite what the marketing strategy is, but are you meaning that's going through that, the steps that you had talked to us about before? Is that what your strategy is, or what is an example of a strategy even?
So an example of a strategy is, what's the event? Okay, so what is the goal? What is the event? So if you're like hosting an event, the marketing strategy is going to be, we're going to, for example, I have a whole like major checklist of all of the things, right? So creating an event on Facebook, sending out emails, and what is the email sequence going to be? What am I going to be posting online? Where am I going to be posting? Do I need to set up a calendar for one-on-ones to discuss, right? How many people do I want to attract? How many people do I want to download a lead magnet? How many people do I want to sign up for the summit? How many people, right? So having the goals and then figuring out what is the plan of how to accomplish that. And it's really kind of a reverse engineer process, and making sure that you give yourself enough time to implement the thing. And then that becomes the only thing that you talk about. Like, you have to make sure that what you are talking about is in alignment. So I had heard about this thing called the 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 method. And this was like the most challenging thing for myself, because I like to talk about all the things, is that in order to avoid confusing people online, because they're like, Elaine, I didn't know you're doing that. Oh my God, you're doing that. Oh my God, you're doing that. How do I keep up with you doing all the things? So the idea is to talk about one thing, one funnel, one offer for 1 year. That was the 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 method. And this is not a method I developed. It was something that I heard that made me go, oh, snap. That would be a huge challenge for me. And so that became, for me, all I'm going to talk about is business makeovers. And what are all of the things that are related to a business makeover? Branding, CRM, websites, marketing, all of those things kind of encompass the business makeover. So that's all I'm going to talk about online. That's what I'm going to talk about, and the customer experience, because that's all, like, that's my umbrella. So when I am posting online, everything I'm doing is around that business makeover. So it's less confusing for people, because like I said, I like to talk about all the things. So this was a real challenge for me.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
that does. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Can you say the 1 by 1 thing again?
So it's one offer, one funnel, one offer, one funnel, what was the other one I said? 1 year, one
Idea. One
Okay. Yeah.
idea
Mhm.
offer funnel year.
Mhm.
Okay.
I feel like there's one I'm missing. I feel like there's one I'm missing, but that's essentially what it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop recording.